G'day folks, coming live from my shed today. Now, it's pouring outside, so I didn't have much options. I wanted to go outside and do a bit of recording, but I couldn't. So what we're doing today is this eBay knife. Now, have you ever thought about buying eBay knives? I have, and I do. I freaking love buying eBay knives because they're cheap, they're nasty, and I just like experimenting with them. Normally what I want to do when I buy an eBay knife, I want to be able to carry it for a little while, use it like my daily, use it all the time, and give it a good, solid test. But unfortunately, with this eBay knife, I couldn't do that. Probably because I didn't trust it. The scary thing about this knife is a few things. Now, yes, I know it's cheap stainless steel. It's not well manufactured. It has heaps of play in it. And in fact, if you give it a bit of force, it'll actually go past on the wrong side of the safety and you won't be able to close it. But get that back open. It does operate for the most part. The reason I didn't carry this knife to see if it would make a good daily was because of this. Check this out. The whole thing flexes and bends. There's play all over the knife. And well, didn't even lock out then. Nope, just passed on the wrong side again. That's the only reason I couldn't test this knife as a daily to see if it would be useful to me. I know that style of knife, this style of knife is useful. Bought one for the missus, she loves it. I'll chuck a link to this knife up on the screen so you guys can see it. But yes, it was cheap, but doesn't matter how cheap it is. If the knife is not safe to use and operate without it, one, bypassing its own safety and not locking out, then it's not worth carrying at all, unfortunately. It looked like it was metal when I bought it, and yes, it was a bargain. I think I paid like $5 or $6 for it. It was bugger all, but unfortunately, if I wanted to make this knife usable in any way, I'd have to remake the handle for it, which I'm not going to do. It's a $5 knife, who cares? But what I want to know is, how hard is this going to be to break? Now, firstly, what we want to do is to see how hard the handle is going to be to break. And then I want to see how hard the blade itself is going to be to break as well. So I don't trust this blade being that it's cheap stainless steel. And I definitely don't trust this handle being that it's plastic. But I really want to see what it's going to take to break this knife and to see if it'll hold up to any abuse at all. I don't trust it because of that. So I would never use this knife. But, I mean, maybe with some adjustments, and I've tried tightening this up so that it wouldn't bypass the safety, and then it just locks it, won't come out at all. So it's got some really cheap, really poor quality washers in it, unfortunately. But let's see if the handle will snap. Let's see if the window striker will snap, if that will cut, and let's see how hard this thing's going to be to break. I'm going to smash this knife. Now, I have a fair bit going in my shed at the moment because we've had some projects on and the place is trash. But this striker, which is your window striker, I want to see what this is going to do. It would make a good center punch. Doesn't seem to have affected that at all. That's held up pretty well. It has rounded it off a little bit, but I mean, I'm hitting it on steel, not glass. That would, for the most part, I reckon that would smash a piece of glass and still be a usable knife. So the breaker on that passes the test. Next, let's see if this is actually going to cut with the seatbelt cutter. So I'll close this over again, even though it's bypassed its own safety. Well, that would definitely bypass the safety. Righto. So seatbelt cutter, let's see if they've put, it looks like it's going to be sharp. So fingers crossed, let's have a crack. Oh, I don't know. I don't think you'd be cutting a seatbelt with that. Nah. That, unfortunately, like the rest of the knife, is just garbage. That doesn't cut at all. Not only will it not cut, it won't even start a cut. So we'll go like this. Punch a hole in that and pretend that we have a seatbelt that's already worn. Chuck that in the hole. It tears, it doesn't cut. I mean, that's a tear. That's not a cut. Unfortunately, seatbelt cutter, as garbage as the rest of it. Let's see what this thing can really take. All right, I'm just going to show you the flex that this thing has. One finger, that flex is a massive deal. But that bent over so easily. That really took no pressure to bend that at all. So I wouldn't trust that with anything. If you're leaning on a knife, you're doing a particular task with it. If you need to shave some wood down or cut something with it, you don't want your knife doing that. That's not ideal at all. Look at the bend on that. That's not very good. And I'm going to bet money that this blade will bend. I don't think it's going to snap. But let's see. You reckon it's going to bend or snap? Actually, I think the handle's going to snap before the blade snaps. I may have to get some pliers on this blade because that handle has already let go. That's knackered. Yeah, we're going to have to get some pliers onto that. Well, we're going to have a crack at this now and see if this blade bends or snaps. And I think it's going to bend. Wrong. It broke. But that didn't take anywhere near as much force as I thought that was going to take. That is an absolutely cactus knife. Now, I didn't have to do too much to persuade that thing to self-destruct. It did it all on its own. I was under the impression when I purchased it that it was stainless steel. That doesn't actually feel like stainless steel. It feels like, I don't know, cast steel or something. I'm not entirely sure what it's meant to be made of. What is remaining there did actually bend and permanently bend. So that's no longer straight, but it did snap along that line where it was in the vise as well. So didn't take a great deal of force and absolute heap of shit.